Hello, my people. This is Agoyi TV. Please don't forget to share my video and follow me on my Facebook page. Yeah, as we know, say new president don't enter, which is President Ahmed Tinubu. He don't take over Nigeria now, and now him be the new commander in chief of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So now everybody now they bring suggestion to see how Nigeria go fit move forward, how things go fit take work under him control. Because we know say under Buhari things no work well, and we need to move past Buhari regime, because in regime no be what person supposed to remember now again. So now I listening to SAN Agbakoba, and his suggestion was so nice, and he spoke very very well for Arise TV. So I would like make we watch the video, and it was so interesting, and I wish our new president go fit at least buy into his little ideas, because it really makes sense. Because everybody they bring suggestion to see how in government go take work, because we need a better Nigeria and make things begin work out. Nigeria no get issue. Now just now bad government make us everybody they cry, they run around, they scream. If say Nigeria they work, nobody go they say okay, make Igbo man rule or Yoruba man rule or Hausa man. No, nobody go they worry. So far the country is moving forward. But now because say the country know the work, that is why everybody they scream. They want say okay, Hausa man don't rule, Yoruba man, okay, now make Igbo man. But I believe say Tinubu, we could still give him time in say 100 days. He need to run faster and see how he can move this country forward. Talk many things. Talk where our new president go fix or do changes. Really talk about those side, and those security sector. You need to change them and begin naming ministers. Make things begin work. Make everybody start work immediately. And another thing we still talk about again now, how he need to take unite the country, and that is another priority. Number one thing we need to do, because the country they divided so much to the extent that everybody now is scared of his neighbor, his brother. So you need to bring that unity so that things go start to the work within ourselves. And still talk about how make it stay no inherit the enmity where Buhari don't create. Or yes, because everybody knows say Buhari create enmity within in government. It make everybody hate themselves, hate in government. So make you know inherit that enmity, and which is number one thing we need to do now. See how we go to free this Nnamdi Kanu, and through you need to free him so that make peace if it did that eastern side, because since we Nnamdi Kanu dey inside that their custody there, if you watch that east side, peace no dey there. So at least make the man come out, make we see how this insecurity wey dey that east side now maybe feel reduce. So I hope say Tinubu go work and make we see if Tinubu go feel bring changes, work, make stability, feel dey for country, and things begin work out. I don't see what people go to complain again for. So everybody need to move on. We need to move on now, and this is the right time. We need to start moving on to for new government now when he don't enter. So make una listen to the video, and I hope say una go enjoy am. This is Ezagoye TV. Please don't forget to share my video and follow me on my Facebook and YouTube page. Thank you and God bless you. Ciao.
President Tinubu has gone through 4 processes: aspirant, candidate of his party, president-elect, and now president. And in spite of the fact that there are constitutional challenges in the courts, I think all Nigerians must endorse him now as constitutionally approved, pending whatever happens in the election tribunal. So I think the last speaker, I liked what she said, that we all must come behind him so that he can do the task that he has set out for himself. And I remember I watched the investiture dinner, and I was very happy that he said, no one asked me for this job. I, on my own, took upon the task of being president of Nigeria. So a lot is expected of him. And a couple of things I'll say. One, national unity. The country is so divided that nothing can happen without President Tinubu making a big attempt to unite Nigerians. And I would suggest that he can call a meeting of the sub-nationalities of Nigeria. The Afenifere, the Ohaneses, because these guys, have a very strong hold on their ethnic, sub-nationalities. If that happens and it is successful, that then pushes the way forward for him to now unleash a couple of big programs. One would be insecurity. I would say all service chiefs should honorably resign, all of them, including the IG of police, because they've not done well. President Tinubu cannot carry on with these service chiefs. We need to create a new security infrastructure. Actually, the last real security infrastructure was propelled by Professor Akinyemi. I was then at the NIIA, and I took part in writing the SSS bill. Unfortunately, it has turned out to be a behemoth. But we must change the security infrastructure. We must change our military doctrine, and we now need to consider the theory of irregular warfare. The bandits, Boko Haram, they're all IPOP, they're all fighting irregular warfare. But I see our soldiers using conventional means. That will not work. So I hope the president would take that into account. Another issue would be the one concerning the economy. There's no money. The debt to revenue ratio is horrible. If we earn 100 naira, we're spending 100 naira to pay debt. So there's nothing he can do. So quickly, he must look for how to generate revenue. I'm sitting here in Apapa. This is a gold mine. The port here produces 20 billion naira every day. That's about 8 trillion, which is about a third of the economy. Yet this place is abandoned. I'd like to see the president propelling to the National Assembly an emergency regeneration bill for Apapa. It may cost 10 to 15 billion, but it will be worth it because we get a lot of money from Apapa. There are 56,000 broken projects that are uncompleted. We need to see legislation go into the National Assembly so that those broken projects can be quickly completed and bring out money for us. In the maritime economy, which has been glossed over by all presidents in Nigeria, it needs to form a central and key part of the president's agenda. I need to see the president appoint a minister for maritime affairs. Nigeria is a very huge country. Outside of oil and gas, the maritime sector is the second largest, yet there is no minister. There's a minister of aviation, which is smaller than the maritime industry, so that is something that ought to be done. Analysts have shown that the maritime sector can produce up to 7 to 8 trillion a year. So you see, we've got the first one that I've just told you, 20 billion from the ports, another 8 trillion from the maritime sector, so that's already 16 trillion. Then we need to talk about limited government. The government is simply too big. We need to talk about anti-corruption. The anti-corruption process is not working. I have challenged the constitutionality of the EFCC. The EFCC is a behemoth. It needs to be dismantled. Mr. Bauer needs to go because what he's doing is not attracting people's confidence. He needs to go. He's always in battles with everybody. Now he's battling Matawale. That's no way to fight corruption, so we need to see Mr. Bauer step aside honorably so that the anti-corruption process can be seen to be genuinely fought by the president without any equivocation. So all the guys who took part in the old government should honorably step down. Now, he needs to have good people. In the CIA, they refer to top people as top assassins. My number one top assassin for the Attorney General's position would be either Babatunde Ogala or BRF. Fashola has a big brain, so he can easily do that. Legal failure would mean that you need a very strong Attorney General to do strong work in development and law and order. For the SGF, because if you don't put in good people, you're not going to get results. So I would say someone like Governor Bagudu should be headed to the position of the SGF, and so on and so forth. So if you have good people around, the president, if he has good people around, then he's likely to make a success of his job. But we are very anxious. Nigeria is very anxious that the president succeeds, because if you ask Nigerians, they are more interested in development than who is actually president. So if it had been Peter Obi or Mr. Atiku, it will make no difference. So the fact that there are cases in the tribunal should not deter the president from absolutely getting his job done. The poverty in the land, multidimensional poverty, is 131 million. That's too high. So if you can get all these things done in 100 days, I'm sure people will say yes. We've seen someone who has come to the job and is keen to deliver. So I wish him, the best. The appropriate timeline is absolutely today. Today, I would think he should be making critical appointments. I've just given a couple of names. I'd like to see in place an Attorney General. I'd like to see in place a CBN governor, either Mustafa Chikobi or Yemi Kadoso. I'd like to see a Minister of Transport. I'd like to see the Transport Ministry reorganized into 4 sub-ministries of rail, road, shipping, and air, with the Secretary of Transport organizing this. I'd like to see works, cease to be a ministry and it should go into transport. So these are the couple of big things we need to see. By 6 p.m. today, the challenge for President Tinubu would be to name at least 4 or 5 critical ministers. Critical, because there's no time to waste. Critical ministers who would immediately begin to outline what the president hopes to achieve in 100 days. Now, what happens when he does all this is people say, oh, by the way, there's something new here. There's something like hope. Hope is what makes people happy, even though they may be poor. So that's what we need to see. If I were President Tinubu, I'm not going to look back. Anyone who looks in the rear view mirror while driving will have a crash. Forget President Buhari's tenure of office in 8 years. It's gone. It's done. So I will not be looking at what he did 8 years ago. I'll just be saying, what can I do? Because if you start looking back, then you carry a lot of issues and baggage. Was this rightly done or not rightly done? We all know the issues around President Buhari. But right now, I think he's in Daura, so he's no longer an issue. So what I would urge Nigerians is to forget the past and to say, what can President Tinubu do to make us happy? Nigerians are not even really big. They don't demand much. They want a good job. They want housing. They want water. They want fuel. Little things. That's all. And I mentioned the leaders of the sub-national entities in Nigeria because they're the ones who have cultural and ethnic validity. Look at someone like Edwin Clark in Rivers. He's got a big stature. Look at Arewa. Look at Ohaneze. Look at Afenifere. These are people who I feel, if Mr. Tinubu uses, can calm the situation. I'll take the second first. On Nnamdi Kanu, there's no reason to detain him. It's not necessary. It's just heating up the polity. I would say, whatever it is, draw a line in the sand and say, Nnamdi Kanu, so long as you're doing what you're doing in the context of the Constitution, you're expressing a desire for Biafra. You're not fighting, you're not causing trouble, but go ahead. It's for, I'm an Igbo man, I don't support it. So what makes people think that Nnamdi Kanu's cry for Biafra would necessarily resonate? But it's because the government used the wrong methods by putting him in prison that it has become an issue. I would do the first thing to say to Nnamdi Kanu, you are pardoned. All charges are dropped. And that will lower the temperature I speak about. Bring these sub-ethnic nationalities together. I was a member of the 2014 National Conference. I have no idea where I was called because I don't have any cultural relationship anywhere. But these sub-nationalities are the ones that can help the president validate a new constitution. Whether the constitution is going to be abrogated and a new one introduced, I don't know. But those are the things that he would need to do to create a new national